Hey guys, welcome back to Author Journey. My name is CJ Anaya. Today I'm answering a question from one of you lovely subscribers, and you asked me how I can set my feelings aside when it comes to giving away free books, and how I cannot let that bother me so much emotionally. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I have more than one book written. I think if The Healer or My Fair Assassin or any other book that I've given away for free, if that was the only book that I had written and the only book that I had put out there, it would be very difficult because I just spent so much time on it, and I would want to see, I'd want to be rewarded for my efforts, because writing a book is not easy. Writing a book takes a lot of time. Getting it polished and perfected takes time. And you would hope that if you're not just doing this for a hobby and you are doing this as a career, that you could make some money from it. And so giving it away for free just makes it seem like all that hard work was for nothing, and maybe you're not valuing yourself or what you've done. But one thing there are a few things you consider when doing this. One of them is when you are first starting out writing, the likelihood of making a lot of money with just one book is kind of zilch, because you don't have a platform that you've built. Not a lot of people know about you. You just have that one book, and once someone's read that one book, there's nothing else for them to buy from you. And so generally authors don't see money coming in, and this is a generalization. Obviously there are exceptions to every rule, but mostly you don't see yourself gaining momentum with an income until you have about 3 or 4 books out anyway. And then another reason why maybe I'm able to pull myself away from the situation, since I do have more books, is also just it's because I'm looking at it long term, not short term. I'm not just thinking about, oh, how much money can I make right now? I'm thinking about all the people that I can get eyes on my books, people who will be more likely to look at what I have to offer, and how much easier it's going to be to get them as fans, to get them as readers, for them to hear about me and find out about me. And so I'm looking at it from a long-term standpoint, and thinking the more eyes on my book, the more chance I have of finding people who are going to love what I write, which means if I can get them on my mailing list, then they're going to be part of my family, and they're going to be people I can contact again and again and again. And so that's kind of the master plan. So you have to have kind of that author brain where you've written it and you've done the best you can creating it, and you're very proud of what you've done. And then the other half is that author business mentality, where you recognize that if you are actually going to run this as an entrepreneur, if you are going to have your own online business of selling books, and you want this to be your career, then every business gives away samples. Like that's just how it is. Any business you run into, there's going to be some kind of promotion, something that they do to entice you to try their products. And this is the same concept. Just because you've written it doesn't mean someone's going to buy it. And so the best way to get people involved and to check and see if they even like what you're writing is to give them a sample. So I actually like to encourage people to write novellas, because it's less time consuming. If you write a 20,000 word novella, that's either an intro to your series or just a standalone novel, that has a resolution, either a happily ever after in romance, or just something fun where people can try out your style, decide if they like what you have to offer, then that doesn't take as much time to write or as much time to polish and perfect, and you can have that reader magnet there for people to use to get on your mailing list. It's just also something that you can put everywhere. You can make perma-free, you can give away, and there's nothing wrong with that, because the more people who see that that's the book that you've written, they see your pen name on there, the more likely they are to sign up for your mailing list if you're giving it away for free. And so at this point, because it has brought me so many subscribers to give my books away for free, and it has opened up so many doors, I know that is going to be the outcome, so I'm not worried about the process. And I've talked about mindset before, but when it comes to being an author, it is all about the long-term, goals and pushing through. If you think that this is like a fast track to making money, like you are dead wrong. Because it's a process. You have to learn how to write a great book at first anyway. And that's like the bare minimum of what you need to do to be able to be an author, because then the business end comes in. Once you've written a fabulous book, you need people to find it. You need to build an audience of fans, and these things take time to learn and to do. But one of the fastest ways to do that is to write something specifically for people as a sample. Don't write a whole book if you don't have anything that you can make perma-free right now. Just write a novella. Write something that's 20,000 words that you can give an intro to. Kickstart the people off at like a starter library, something that will bring them to sign up for your newsletter as you work on more books. Now, I always recommend, if you do have novellas that you're giving away for free, that's great, but also consider, if you are writing series, to make sure that the first book is free, because that's how you get people locked into a good series. If people like the first book, they're going to read the second and the third and the fourth, like get them locked into that. This first book may be a loss leader. It may be considered that because you're not charging anything, but you're funneling so many people into your newsletter and so many people into this series of books that it doesn't matter, because you're recouping that money that you would have gotten anyway, because you're ensuring that people find your series, they start your series, and then if they really like it, they're going to continue on. And so that's how I handle those things. It was very difficult at first, but at the same time, as I continued on and recognized that from a business and marketing aspect, this made a lot of sense, I was able to move forward from there. Now, there may be a point in my journey as an author where I'm doing enough promotions and I can afford enough promotions with Facebook ads and Amazon ads that I won't even need to make those first books free in order to get people to find me and to notice me. Maybe 99 cents, maybe $2.99, who knows? Everything fluctuates and changes, but when you're starting out, the best way to do things to get people on your list, and I strongly encourage you, when you're starting out and you're building a platform, that you work on that email list. I don't care about Facebook likes. I like that people go and like my Facebook page, but I only can get so much engagement on Facebook, because Facebook, unless you're using Facebook ads, not a lot of people are going to see your feed. There's so many things going on. And so the best thing to do as you start, for anybody on the marketing end of things, is to build that list. Build that subscriber list of people on your newsletter who are going to be part of your family. And you do that with free books. It's one of the best ways I've found to do it. That's your reader magnet. That's what you do. And so if you can look at it as just, well, this is my sample. I love this book, but this is what I'm using as a marketing tool and nothing else, then it helps a little bit more. One thing that I would encourage you to do, something that works really well for romance authors, is to write novellas in a series. So you've got several novellas that are anywhere from 20 to 40,000 words. The first one is free. They're all standalone. So even though they're in a series, what ties them together is the theme. So it could be like a bachelor romance series or a billionaire romance series, or it could be a shapeshifter romance series, something that ties them in together. But you've got a standalone novella with a happily ever after at the end, because people like resolution in romances. And that's that couple's story. Then find a secondary character in that story and make that next book all about that secondary character, who's now going to be the main character, and their romance. Who are they going to become involved in? And it can be people from previous books, but that's very effective and gets people a lot of money. You can enroll those series in Kindle Unlimited and get paid for page reads, and have that first book free, and then just make a ton of them. Make 10 of them in a series. They don't have to interlock in a sense that, oh, there's this huge story and plot that you're going to find. The plot is the romance for each book, and the fun and exciting way that these couples come together and fall in love. And they're short, sweet stories that are satisfying for people, and it doesn't take people long to read them, so mothers can actually get their groceries bought and and put away and do laundry and feed children and still have time to read and get to that satisfying conclusion. So a lot of romance authors are doing that, and that is one way to not feel too terrible about having to give that first book away for free, because you've got so many other books in the series, and it doesn't take a ton of time to write those. They're not as long as a full length. So just some ideas to consider, and reasons why it's much easier for me now to give away some of those books for free. And just remember that word of mouth is key. When you can find a group of people who are going to be willing to talk about your books with others, that's awesome. And so usually when people contact me and say, hey, I really would love to read your book, but I can't afford it, I will give it to them for free. If they've taken the time to contact me, I will give them a book for free. Usually this happens in India. I have a lot of readers from India who cannot afford even the ebooks, and that's okay. And so I have several teenagers who've contacted me, and because they can't get the book or their parents can't get the book, I just give them a free e-copy online. And then they read it and they talk about it with everybody. So I actually have a really big following in India because of that. And I do get a lot of people buying books from India. But I also just like to give those books away for free to people who want to talk about the books and want to talk about it with their friends. And when teenagers contact me and ask for free books and explain their situation, I'm just so tickled to think that they're interested and that they want to get a hold of me. And I usually try to be careful to make sure, that they are who they say they are. But at the end of the day, if they wanted to get a pirated copy, they could probably figure out how to do that. So I do like to be very open and giving as far as that goes, because I feel like karma is, you give value, you receive value. So I don't know. I've really created quite a good following in India and built very good relationships with some of those teenagers over there who email me constantly. We talk about the books, and that's so much fun. I really, really like that. A lot of teenagers in Germany as well. A lot of teenagers in Finland, of all places. That was random. So that's just been fun. And so the more you give, the more you receive. And I wouldn't worry about it too much if you can just look at it like that. So thank you for the question. Great question. If you have any other questions, then please feel free to ask and like this video. If you liked it, comment below if you have anything to add or weigh in on this conversation at all. And we'll talk to you guys later. You have a nice day. Bye-bye.